Now that the mysterious leader of Leviathan has been revealed, what plans does he have for the world as a whole and the heroes in it? Well, let's hop into the pages of Event Leviathan, issue number 6, the grand finale, and find out. Oh boy, this is gonna be one of those, I can just tell you. So again, picking up from where the last issue left off, our heroes had come to the realization that whoever the mysterious leader of Leviathan was, he was almost certainly a former Manhunter. Only that's not really where this issue starts off at all. In fact, for some reason, Bendis has this weird idea to tell this final chapter of the story completely out of order, jumping around in time a bunch. We get to see Lois, who survived her last run-in with Leviathan, but her father sadly did not. Superman is there too, having rushed to his wife's side. Oh yeah, he's fine. Not like when last we saw him, he was staring down the leader of Leviathan and we didn't know if he would get out okay or anything. No, he got out completely 100% fine, so there's literally no drama for the rest of the story. Lois desperately in vain tries to make sense of Leviathan's plan, how they attempted to recruit her father, Sam Lane, and when that didn't work, they tried to kill him. Only that's not at all what happened. They tried to kill him to begin with, and then never really tried to recruit him again. But that's not important. What is important is that Leviathan's plan, their mystery plan, that again has yet to actually be explained, the so-called Snowman Protocol that is never actually brought up again in this issue, was in fact Sam Lane's own personal plan to try and right the wrongs of the world and fix the balance of power within the spy community. Those plans were stolen and eventually put into action by the leader of Leviathan. It's for all those reasons and more, Talia al Ghul, backed up by the Silencer, have gone to meet Batman's team off at the pass on their way to do something. We never really knew what Batman's team were doing. Talia believes that Kate Spencer's Manhunter gear has actually allowed the bad guys to look in on the heroes and make sure that they were always one step ahead of them, even though they never really needed to be one step ahead of them because the heroes were incapable of actually figuring anything out over the course of this miniseries. But alright, you're probably thinking, okay, Kate is the key to all of this, right? She's basically the main character of this book, only she isn't. She swiftly gets beaten up by Talia. A fact of which really doesn't offend Batman and the other heroes. This does, however, lead to a kind of clever little scene wherein, to make sure that they're not being bugged, all the heroes talk to each other in sign language. It's a shame that once again they don't actually say anything to each other. They basically talk in circles and think, oh, who is Leviathan? Am I Leviathan? Is anyone actually Leviathan? And again, all of it is just marking time for the big finale. Mark Shaw, the actual leader of Leviathan, reveals himself to Superman, and oh boy, this is where things get confusing. First off, hey, totally called that it was Shaw, by the way. But here's the thing, Shaw says that he had a long, full career as the Manhunter, and all of that continuity still stands, yet he and Superman are acting like they're meeting each other here for the very first time. And again, none of it actually matters, because it's at that point all the other heroes join Superman in the Leviathan dimension, and they fight a little bit with Leviathan's goons, but then eventually the bad guy just up and leaves. And it's only here at the very end, when literally none of it matters, do the heroes actually put their heads together and say, hey, what was Leviathan's ultimate plan? Something about disseminating important information? You know, getting the truth out there to the world, all the financial statements, criminal records, and dick pics out in the light where everyone can see them? Because doing things that way while causing a lot of chaos would ultimately lead to a brighter, better tomorrow for everyone. Oh yeah, but this would also mean all the superheroes in the world would get their secret identities outed, which, if that sounds incredibly close to what Spiral was doing during the Tim Seeley Grayson run, then yeah, that's exactly what it was. And so Lois Lane opts to try and use Leviathan's own tactics against them by writing a hard-hitting op-ed piece which outs Mark Shaw as the leader of Leviathan. And I know what you're probably all thinking, and I'm thinking it too, that can't really be the end of the story, can it? Well, yes it is. This is how Event Leviathan ends. Oh, I'm sorry, did you want something instead of nothing? Well, maybe pick up Leviathan Dawn, the sequel series coming soon, and you might get it. You might also not, but seriously, that's where this story ends. And so that was Event Leviathan issue number 6, everybody, and oh man, this was so not even worth the paper it was printed on. A poorly put together mystery story with no clues, no intrigue. A mystery villain whose ultimate reveal was equal parts too complicated and yet also way too easy to call. But by far the truest slap in the face is that none of this actually mattered at the end of the day. This was only a first act stretched out over 6 issues, because if you really want to know what's going on, apparently apparently you gotta read the sequel. But I mean, really, when part 1 is so bad, why would anyone be willing to come back for part 2? The only saving grace here is Alex Maleev's art. But even that becomes harder to enjoy when there is so little of note actually going on the page itself. I don't normally do worst of the year lists or anything, but if I did, you better believe Event Leviathan would be on it. I give this one a 4 out of 10, and even some people might say that that's too generous.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Jewel, and if you're seeing me right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, which I am very appreciative of. It really helps drive engagement and retention and all that other good YouTube stuff. So does liking and commenting. Wink wink. If you like my content too, you should check out my Patreon page. We just redid all the tiers, so there's a ton of great rewards. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and well, it would just really help me out. It's never expected, but always appreciated. So until next time everyone, I've been Cape Joel, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.